64 Lincoln is just, it's iconic.
Man, we're gonna take all the 1964 off this car. We're gonna make everything modern.
435 horsepower Fury.
I thought this thing was solid. It's solid, full of holes and crap.
Too bad it's not the roof that looks like this.
I know, and we're gonna chop it off. It's called a sling ray. It started as a Polaris slingshot with 3 wheels.
I just didn't feel like it was finished right.
No matter how custom a car is, there's always something else to do.
Holy cow!
I'm Bill Carlton. I built my first truck when I was 16. And ever since, me and my guys have been out here creating with our hands. Building the biggest, lowest, baddest custom trucks and cars in the game. People don't come here for what they need. They come here for what they want. This is Texas Metal.
You might have noticed we had this 64 Lincoln sitting in the lot for quite some time. 4 or 5 years, I don't really know how many.
Well, numbers off this thing. I think I got this thing sold.
Really? Yeah. I've been wanting to hear that for quite a while. It's one of those things. I bought it for a build and it just never happened. So it never left. Man, I was beginning to think this thing was going to be here forever.
Well, it might not be going too far. I think our buyer is gonna want us to build it.
Oh, yeah? Yeah. It don't get any better than that, right? Make a little money on the sale and then make a little money on the customization.
That is for sure.
These are always cool cars, man. I mean, the 64 Lincoln is just, it's iconic. Been itching to do some stuff to one of these for quite a while. There's so much you can do to these things. I mean, this thing's 20 feet long and it's almost 20 feet wide.
20 feet of Fury, but it's more of a boat than it is a car.
You're right.
Maybe put some propellers on the back or something, take it around the lake.
Hey, before you get too far, man, let's make sure you get this thing sold.
I'm not making any promises, but I'm 100% going to sell this car today.
I like that confidence, man. Let's see what you got.
Let's do it.
Somebody just walking around Sunny Drive, these old cars might not look like much. You know, I wouldn't keep them all around if I didn't see the potential of what they could be. The whole trick is to find someone that wants that project. Once you have that, it's really satisfying to bring these old cars back to life.
Hey, Bill, how are you?
Hey, man, real good. Congratulations, you're the new owner of the 60.
It's a fantastic car. You know, ever since I rode in one about 25 years ago, wanted to get one of these, a nice convertible Lincoln Continental ever since.
The one you bought is a coupe. It still has its top on it. You know that, right?
Can you guys help me with that?
So you wanted to make this thing a convertible?
That would be sweet, yeah.
Man, we can definitely do that. That'd be real cool. Just chop the top off, weld all the seams up, and just make it a convertible all year round.
All year round, yep.
Where are you located?
I'm outside of Boston, so we'll have to make sure it's got some heat.
We can definitely do that. How far are we taking it?
If you guys could do your magic and make it something really, really custom, really sweet for me, I'd love to have a really nice street cruiser that goes fast and handles well.
Man, we definitely got you on that. First thing, put a modern engine in it with a lot of power, reliability, just something you can get in, hit the key, and haul butt with.
Oh, I love it.
We'll put it on air suspension, big brakes, big wheels and tires. Make this Lincoln ride really good, handle really well, and you're gonna look cool doing it.
That sounds awesome.
Any preference toward any colors, anything like that?
To me, a Lincoln Continental, that vintage has always been black, and then in the interior, I think like a white.
Kind of like a junior mint.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Frank wants this full-time convertible, so one thing we're gonna focus a lot on is the interior. That's a really, really important thing on any car, but especially build you something just totally custom and totally unique and just make this a piece of art.
All right.
Well, Frank, man, I know exactly what you want, and we're gonna make this thing happen for you.
All right, perfect. Can't wait to see it.
Talk to you later. You know, this job's like a double-edged sword, right? On one hand, it's really good to get this thing out of the lot, get it sold, but, you know, the other hand, I know exactly how much work is going to have to go into this. Every job has its own set of challenges, no different. You know, I'm really nervous. One of the things you dread most on a car this old, been sitting for quite some time, is rust. I mean, rust destroys everything. I mean, it's a New Mexico car, nice and dry climate. It should be pretty solid, but once we blast it, we'll know for sure.
ton of Lincolns, ton of them been done. What are we gonna do that's gonna be different?
It's not what we're doing, it's what aren't we doing? You know, I definitely got a couple concerns on this thing. First, you see the rust going through on the hood and trunk lid, right?
That's definitely not gonna bust.
Looks pretty solid, but we won't know until we get it blasted. You know, the next thing, engine out of this thing is gonna have brand new power plant. Yeah. We want that Cody in here. Put the Ford engine with the Ford body.
Very cool.
You know, keep it all legit. As far as the interior, everything completely out. We're gonna start fresh on that. We really want to focus on the interior too, because there's not gonna be a top on it.
Where is the top going?
The top's going in the scrap bin.
We're just totally roastering, taking the top.
Cutting the roof completely off this thing, taking all the glass out and capping the doors and the deck lid. 100% no top all the time.
That's awesome.
You know we got to make this thing low to the ground. Get this thing on air suspension, get it all the way on the ground, freshen everything up. 24x8s in the front, 24x10s in the back, new brakes, all joints, everything. Start 100% fresh.
Tell me we're going black.
You know, I totally agree with Frank. This car just needs to be black. Not just a normal black, not just a deep black. We're going to give it something that wakes it up a little bit. It's going to be cool. You know, the chrome just really makes this car. I mean, we definitely need to keep this on it.
I think it's mostly here.
Yeah.
I think it's all here.
Re-chrome the bumpers, grill. Man, it really stand out against that black. Awesome. First things first is getting some totally stripped.
We'll get some people. We'll get started.
I'm gonna go get a bunch of parts.
Ready? Ready? We'll take the trunk off and the lid off. I'll go get John, take all the interior out. Hey, we got the trunk out. So far, I'm pleasantly surprised. It didn't look as bad as I thought. When John gets the carpet out, this is going to be a telltale sign to see how the floor looks in this thing.
One of the challenges with these old cars is everything's stripped out, everything's rusted, nothing really wants to come apart, so a lot of times you just got to turn the bolts into liquid. Just stuck to the floor. It's still standing here. That's a plus.
Surprisingly, it looks really good. This floor could have been a whole lot worse. We're going to take all the 1964 off this car. We're going to make everything modern, make everything handle better, drive better, stop better. So to do that, we need a clean slate. We're going to take all this old stuff, get it out of here. So now when we get it blasted, it's going to be a fresh new start. We won't have to deal with 60 years of dirt, grease, grime. We can weld right to it, and we know it's ready to go.
Now go up. Up. Go.
Go down. Yeah, 5 minutes. Yeah. Whew. It was a lot of dirty work, but we finally got this thing all stripped down. The next big surprise is going to be when it comes back from blast.
Depending on how backed up the media blaster is, sometimes a project can take up to 2 weeks to come back. But other times, like in this case, it's the next day.
And it came back from blast. That side doesn't look as bad. I want you to look at this side. It looks a lot rougher than when it left. Especially, I don't know what's going on here. You're speechless?
Man, I thought this thing, you know, was solid. It's solid, full of holes and crap, right?
The paint was all faded. You would think over time you'd start to see stuff coming back through it, but it was well hidden.
Man, very well. The other side looks decent. The floorboards look decent. Everything underneath looks good.
Yep. Too bad it's not the roof that looks like this.
I know. The roof looks really good. We're going to chop it off. Well, we got to do what we got to do now. We're already too deep in this thing to do anything about it, so we'll just replace the fender. Probably going to replace the quarter. Let's get it. You know, you always hate it when a car comes back from media blast and it's in worse shape from what you thought. The 1964 Lincoln is a lot worse. Luckily, Max sourced some old replacement panels. That way Jamie can get busy and get them replaced.
This thing's pretty much beyond repair. I mean, all the Swiss cheese down here, these ripples into the door jamb, and then we come to the front right here. This is pretty much the same story. It's too far gone. We don't want to put any metal like that back. So best thing to do, go ahead and cut this off, skin this with a new fender, and send it back to the body shop. Let's get started. All these little indentions are spot tacks. I have to drill everyone out. So cue the time lapse. Spot tacks are just about out, so we'll go ahead and score a line right next to this door to make it easier to go ahead and get these leftover spot tacks out. Just a quick cut with a cutoff wheel, and we'll have this panel off. This was on another car a week ago. Just an old 64, 65 fender. I always like to use the original parts instead of like a repop. The new metal is a little bit thinner, the old metal is a little bit thicker and stronger. On this panel, there's a chrome trim piece right here. If I don't leave even, you'll see a gap on the chrome. So it's really important that I clamp everything right where it needs to go. In the old days, this is how they did it with the spot tacks. Nowadays, they glue panels together. I mean, I don't know. I've seen glue come apart, so you'll never catch me using a glue gun. It's always going to be a welder. Okay, that one's in. Everything looks good. Go ahead and move on to the back now. I look up, I've been wanting to see this thing for quite some time.
It's called a sling ray. It rolled into SEMA a couple years ago. And man, people haven't stopped talking about it since. Tim, what's happening?
What's up, Bill? How you doing, brother?
Man, all right. Man, I finally get to see this thing in person.
Sure do, man. What do you think of it?
Man, it's crazy. But finally seeing this thing in person, it's amazing. I mean, it's a work of art. It started as a Polaris slingshot, which is an auto cycle with 3 wheels.
We basically turned it into a 4-wheel conversion instead of 3 like the typical.
That's unbelievable.
Dropped in an LS3 with a stage 2 Whipple. And of course, we did this crazy exoskeleton to match Corvette ZR1. 650 plus horsepower, a huge sound system in it, and it's all on air ride.
Crazy.
Big adult go-kart.
This is the kind of thinking that I like, just totally out of the box. So what brings you by, man?
A couple little things that, when I got the car back, basically just weren't complete. I just didn't feel like it was finished right.
I totally get it. No matter how cool, how custom a car is, there's always something else to do.
The engine bay over there, there's a lot where you can see the wiring and everything else, that we needed like some kind of like sheet metal or something, that cool cover plate.
Yeah, I see.
Yeah.
Big void right here. You can build a sheet metal panel, give it some bead rolling, make it look really nice. And the filter, man, yeah. It definitely needs something else on there for sure.
Started on the filter. I can always tell who the haters are because that's the first thing they talk about every time they look at this car. Everything else in this car is completely custom, so I think that should be too.
I might just have to test drive this thing, personally, and just make sure the suspension is right, the engine's performing right, Just make sure everything's right for you.
Of course, man, whatever you gotta do.
Look out for you.
Oh, I know you're looking out for me. I'm sure you want to take it for a spin to get that, get the feel for those compartments.
Yeah, I just gotta make sure,
Oh yeah, I totally get it, man. Of course, take it for a spin.
Looking at this, it's just a tease.
Man, I've been seeing this thing on the internet. I didn't think I'd see it in person.
Come on, man, let's go check it out. When you see a car like this, a vehicle like this, you gotta get behind the wheel and just feel it. This thing is great to drive. Handles good, rides good, got unbelievable amount of power. That's exactly what you want, driving something like this. I can totally understand the obsession of getting this thing 100% right and 100% finished. Everywhere you go, it draws a huge crowd. Everybody wants to talk to you about it. What I'm to ask is, how come this isn't finished right here? When we're done with this, there's not going to be a reason for that guy to say one word.
So what are we doing to this thing?
You know, everything has been done to this thing, which is everything.
Yeah.
Once you have a project done like this, there's always that 1 or 2 or 10 things that you see that nobody else sees. Once you see those things, you can't unsee it. You're just fixated on it until it's fixed. Of course, one of the things is the air filter. This thing is way too cool to have something that uncool on it. The next thing, it's got a couple little pockets in the front, little factory little voids where you see down in it, just looks unfinished. We're going to fabricate custom panels on both sides of the engine to hide all that wiring. And then we'll color match them with two-tone paint.
Clean it up real good?
Yeah. You know, it's really cool to get a project like this in the shop, even though we didn't build it. It's good to be a part of it. Without saying, because you can see right into the engine. The look of the covers are fine, so to go over with the overall flow of the sling ray. Basically, I'm starting with a blank chipboard. And I'm going to scratch out a couple designs, see if I can get some things to work and fit around these areas, make it something you want to look at instead of something you look away from. I'm just getting a rough outline. I'm going to see how I can tie everything in together to hide as much of these wires, these canisters as I can, because it's not very nice to look at. It's time consuming, but it's definitely necessary. See how much better it ties in already? That's already looking a lot better. As you can see, it's not just a flat piece of metal. It's got a lot of shapes and bends and contours. It's busy. I'm gonna have a lot of little tricky details on this one little panel, and I also have to duplicate this to the other side, which makes it even harder. For most car guys, the sling ray is almost a perfect build. But even then, there's always one more thing. So right now, Jamie's making some custom panels to hide all that wiring. So now I got all my pieces right here. Taking the tape off, kind of just breaking them down into flat panels. Try to space put them wherever. Once I do that, go ahead and cut it out, and then I'll start shaping it. So rather than making another template for the other side, go ahead and make my template out of the copies that I just cut out. It'll just be mirrored, flipped. That'll be my other side. So this is my passenger side, this is my driver's side, this is the side I made my template from. So I'm gonna take my template, mark both panels out at once so they're exactly the same. I put the same bins, the same roll, everything in it at the same time. All right, let's cross fingers. Take your time to do this. You can't just rush this. This has to be planned out. One wrong bend and you might as well throw the panel away. You can look at it right now and see that everything's exactly the same contour, but my bend right here connects right to my bend right there. This first one, now just a couple more left to go. Pretty happy with the shape. I'm ready to tack everything up. Pretty happy with the way this is starting to look. So all I need to do is mirror the other side, then I can continue on forming on this piece around the edge. We made real progress on the suspension for the 64 Lincoln. We tied the two links directly into the existing unibody.
How's your chain link look? Parallel or what?
Looks pretty close right here.
We're buttoning up the bag mounts, and then we're moving on to turning this into a roadster.
Go ahead and tack it on the corner, just like you did on the other side. You know, being here at Extensive working on these Lincolns, it's always cool to be able to put these parts on and see it all come together, and once it drives out and you see it sitting on the ground, it's pretty awesome.
Before you just go chopping a top off, you know, it's critical to reinforce the body first. This whole Lincoln is a unibody car, so that means there's no frame underneath this thing. The body itself is super rigid and doesn't need a frame, but we just can't cut the roof off or the whole car just bend in half, right? So what we need to do is cut 2 inches out of here and put in 2x4 box tubing in it. So this thing is really, really, really rigid. Let's get it, man. Once you get on that side and just kind of replicate what I'm doing on this side, we'll knock it out real quick. Straight as you can, right on the outside of the line, because it's going to be a lot easier to put the tubing in and out with it not being right on it. But you don't want to get too far out, because that's the bigger gap we have to weld up, and that just takes more time. Once that's out of the way, we can see what's under and see how much farther to go.
That's good right there. From underneath, it's one piece of metal that just curves around into the floor. So I raised it up to get a better angle with the cutting wheel. That'll be way easier than doing it from inside the car. Yeah. Like a glove, pretty much what we have now is a frame for this thing. That tubing is going to hold the majority of the flex and weight of this car.
It was a pain, but we got it done.
Well, you ain't done yet. You got the other half to do. Let's just get one side in at a time to make sure this thing doesn't buckle and bend and twist.
Bill finished getting these tacked in. I'm going to go ahead and weld them out. These welds are going to take a while. You don't want to stay in one spot too long and have it eat up and distort the metal, so you got to jump around and make sure it's done right.
Got this piece without a roof. The door frames will lose their structural integrity, so I made a support to put the strength and rigidity back into it. Everything looks good. You got everything welded in nice and solid. It's a lot of welding, huh?
Oh, yeah.
Now I got this for the pillar. That's going to keep everything nice and strong. Make sure these doors shut the same way as before when we had the top on it.
All right.
Man, you're doing a great job.
Thanks, man.
Because the Lincoln's not going to have a roof, the interior is going to be that much more visible. With that in mind, John and Brian are getting after making one-off door panels.
Oh, what you got there? Man, I come with breakfast tacos and dreams.
Okay.
So, my idea, instead of just a pleated panel, wood pleats. We'll take this board and cut it down to be about 3/8 of an inch thick, and basically cut the pleats into the wood.
I see.
Do a pearl white on top of this so the grain really pops out on it.
We carry that throughout the vehicle. That'll look really cool.
I know, that's why I was kind of like, got it. That's what we're gonna do. But first, taco. Now I got them cut to size. Next thing I got to do is cut them in half the long way. Get them 2 pieces the right thickness. We'll run them through the planer, get everything smooth, nice and neat, and then we'll cut our pleats in it. I've set up a fence on the table saw. I want 1.5 inch wide pleats, so cut me some 1.5 inch wide strips. Follow the fence, make the first cut, then I'll stack one in, make another cut, another cut, another cut. Each time I put one of those in there, it moves me 1.5 inches over, gives my spacing evenly all the way across the board, so we get all these things cut and we'll be looking good. All right, so with that done, as you can see, we've got our pleats all the way across here. Everything's cut, they're nice and even. So the next thing we'll do, clean up the edges, and they'll be ready to stain.
Hey, all right, let's go.
We're adding a lot of power to the 64 Lincoln with the brand new Coyote 5.0.
435 horsepower of fury.
Down.
Like it's supposed to be there.
Now that we finished the air suspension and reinforced the body, we can get going to turning this thing into a roadster.
We're going to do a one-weather car?
Yeah, there's no putting the top back on after this.
Much idea.
Cheers. We'll chop down low right here, and once we cap this part of the door, all this flows together. You know, if you open the doors, man, it'll look nice without that indention there.
That's going to be a clean body line right there. That's going to look slick.
After we get it cut, we'll have the doors open all out of the way, and if we did our job right, the doors shut back in the right spot, right?
Everything braced up super solid. I mean, I don't think it's going to move at all. It's not going to move at all. I'm about to cut this piece out right here. This it's gonna be below their doors jammed, so it's just gonna fade right on in. You'll never see it. Got the front half pretty much cut. Now I'm just gonna go on this line right here. That's it.
Got it?
She's loose.
3 feet. Oh, yeah.
Got a little splinter. Got a hard top for sale. Whoa.
Let's see if the door's shut.
All right. Look at that.
Looks good, man.
I think they should have made them like this.
Should be a factory option. The custom filler panels for the sling ray, they're all welded out. Now it's time to add some colors.
What's up, man? How's it going?
Hey, just checking this thing out. Jamie just did a really good job making the filler panels for this. Next step, get it all color matched, making it look good. I don't want it to stand out, so I want this wrinkle black so it all matches everything else. Paint this the silver to match the little trim on the side.
Make a two-tone and match the texture and the color at the same time.
Yeah.
It's gonna look sick, man.
Yeah, let me know when you get done with it.
All right, man. Bill said he wants it a two-tone. From right here, over here, it will be base coat, clear coat, so it will be all gloss. From right here to this side, it will be all texture to match the rest of the car. I'm gonna have to cover this whole piece right here and pretty much leave this wide open. I'm showing you why I'm using this kind of texture. It's because it's actually real close to the texture of the car, so it'll match really good once this whole thing's done. It's gonna look real nice.
Now Jamie can get the new intake in. Yeah, it looks good. And we're ready to give this right back to Tim.
Morning, Bill.
Man, good morning, Tim.
Good, man. How you doing, dude?
Good, man.
You want them donuts? Nah, man, I'm good. I already had my coffee today. So I figured you didn't call me for donuts this morning, huh?
Might have something to show you.
Super excited to see it, man.
Why don't you just have your little donut, and I'll be right back.
All right. Deal. Oh, man! This thing looks sick. As soon as Bill pulled out, first thing I could look at was the engine compartment. Those new custom panels and that air intake looks awesome. I couldn't ask for anything better. Absolutely love it. Man, dude, looks amazing, man. I love it.
You know, Tim, when you came in, it looked unfinished to you. I mean, there was just a couple of little issues here and there that you can't unsee once it's in your brain. You got to address it.
Oh, right? Definitely, man.
So that's what we did. Got it in the shop. Jamie got busy pounding some metal out, forming those panels for you. Man, he comes through.
Yeah.
Always.
Looks so good. I actually was only expecting some flat sheet metal panels, you know, maybe some bead roll on it, but they actually contoured the metal parts to where it actually looks like it's part of the car. It looks so cool.
After he hammered those out, shipped them over to the body shop, and, you know, they do what they do. Made these things super slick, two-tone paint, and added a texture on the inside, so it looks like a part you would get from the dealership.
Dude, it does. It totally wraps up this engine bay, though, for sure.
Well, that and
the intake.
The air intake that you had on there, it looked kind of cheesy, but now it's just over the top. You guys replicated the body from a Corvette, so, you know, just got a 2017 Z06 intake, made it just flow with the rest of it. These are definitely the jobs that, you know, just the little tweaks here and there makes such a huge statement. Goes a long way with the customer.
Just wraps it all up.
Yeah, man.
You know, I think this is now complete. Let's go and drive it.
Hey, speaking of,
yeah,
I got something I've been wanting to do.
What is it, man?
Man, I always wanted to do donuts while eating donuts.
What?
Yeah, man. You know, I've been thinking about this for a while.
You want to do it?
Man, let's do it.
I'll hold this.
All right.
All right.
I like donuts. I like doing donuts. So how do you top that off? You do donuts while eating donuts. Great day. Got a donut hanging out of my mouth, rubber flying, smoke everywhere, Tim screaming. Doesn't get better than that.
I really tried hard to play cool. I was like, I won't die. Wow, man, that was wild. You're crazy. You're crazy.
Did I wake you up a little bit?
Just a little bit, man. Good idea. Good idea.
We're painting the 64 Lincoln. One brought Lewis in to help him paint the custom wood door panels.
So what we've got here is oak, and it's a very grainy species of wood. So we're going to take the wire brush, and we're actually going to rip out all of the softwood to expose the true character of this species. You can start to see the difference on how the character of the grain is actually accented in the piece. All right, we got them all done. Now we just need to take them over to the paint booth, get some paint mixed up, and put some paint on them. Our base coat, you know, it's a brighter white. So what I've done is I've taken that base coat and added some of the pearl powders to it to get really close to the color of the vinyl that we're going to be using in the Lincoln. All right, so we got everything sprayed. We're going to let it dry. It looks really good. You can tell the wire brushing really helped to accent that grain. It's going to look sick, dude.
We're almost done making the 64 Lincoln topless. One of the last steps of the metalwork is capping the doors. You know, I love the no roof on this car. Warm, sunny day. Definitely not going to need the windows to roll up. So what we did is bent some 20 gauge sheet metal, and we're going to cap the doors so you just see smooth custom lines and everything just flowing. And that's exactly what we want. Same spot. Right there. We put these bars across here. That way we know without having to get back and look at it that everything is 100% true straight. This is straight up against this tubing. It is perfectly parallel with that over there. You know, the way we do something like this is leave the panel that we made all in one piece. That way, when we're tacking everything in, everything is 100% straight. Once you get it tacked in, all you need to do is go back and make a cut where the door opening is going to be, and then you fine-tune the little edges, and before you know it, you got a cool custom cap for a 64 Lincoln. Look good. Let's go eat. The dash on the 64 Lincoln was in really rough shape. But John and Brian, they have no choice but to make it work.
Well, as you can see, this dash looks terrible. So we checked a couple of places, and no one on the interwebs has one. Oh, that just meant we fixed the one we got. Just gonna take a little bit of fiberglass putty, or get it packed into here. We'll get it all body worked out. Now, if that's done, the next thing we're going to do is start working on the defrost vent panel. We're going to mold in a speaker grill into that so we can put our speakers back in the factory location. We'll cut out a piece of wood. We'll just trace out our template. Once that's shaped out, a little bit of trim here to modify this factory panel so it'll fit in properly. Next thing to do, get it taped up, put it on the panel, get it body worked in. All right. Got everything worked out on the dashboard, looking good, body worked out, looks nice. The next thing we gotta do is wrap it. All right, so I got this nice white vinyl. Lay it up here, trace it all out, get our patterns done, and then sit down and sew it together. In order for this to lay out properly, we wanna make sure we take the time to keep this nice and flat. If we get any wrinkles in it now, when we sew it together, it will be sewing a wrinkle into it. Off to the side, now what we'll do, get these things sewn together. I was growing up, I always wanted custom cars. I knew I couldn't afford it, so I had to figure out how to do it myself. I ended up sitting behind a sewing machine. But it's just kind of a natural progression. When you get into doing interiors, you kind of expand what you do, and the sewing actually helps you out. You can build anything you want, because no matter what, you'll be able to cover it. I got a nightmare.
Well, it looked like a nightmare. How long is this thing?
About 11 feet. This is not going to be fun.
It's just so much material. You sure this thing fits?
I have a little bit of faith in my process. I don't know which work. No glasses or fogged up glasses. So now that everything's glued, steamed, and in place, we're just going to take our knife, take a little patience, and work our way around it, get everything trimmed out. And once it's all trimmed out, this thing will be ready to go in the car.
We finished the bodywork for the Lincoln, now we can get it into paint. The owner wants a high gloss black to contrast the all white interior. Beautiful. And now we can put back in the 5.0 Coyote engine.
That looks good on the nice black engine compartment. Yeah, it does. It's tight fit. Looks good. Everything else finished up so we can go for a ride.
We're adding some custom 22-inch wheels and tires, dash, door panels, and seats. And we even re-chromed the original chrome. Man, it's crazy to think this thing sat in our lot for years. And now it looks brand new again.
I've been in the industry for 15 years now. I've had the skills and the knowledge over the years, but it's just we've never had the workplace to be able to pull it off. But here, it's a whole nother world. John was actually one of my instructors years ago. As an instructor, he knew exactly how to build you out as a person to turn you into a fabricator. It's really, really cool to have that kind of friendship / instructor going on, and it still carries on to this day. John hit me up on Facebook, and he's telling me there's a position available. I definitely knew I could not miss this opportunity. I had to take this. Since it is the major leagues over here, to get this opportunity and come here and to be able to use my skills and advance my skills, it's a very, very amazing feeling to feel like you got to the top. It was a mind rush to see how this place operates and watch the vehicles come through and the speed we're having to build at, but still have the freedom to be able to build whatever we want. And I never would have thought I'd be standing here looking into this camera.
Old Lincoln's finally done. It's pretty funny. Frank's on his way to check out his one-weather car, and it's cold and rainy. Been a staple in the parking lot for quite some time. From a diamond in the rough to a full polished show car. Always knew his car was going to get finished one day.
Hey there, I'm here for a Lincoln.
Frank, what's happening?
Hey, Billy, Val, how are you guys?
It's a great day to pick up a one-weather car, huh?
Yeah, it is. It is. I brought my rain jacket. I'm all set. You guys ready for me?
Yeah.
Yeah?
I purchased that car years ago with intentions to eventually build it myself, but, you know, I've been kind of busy over the last few years, you know what I mean? Man, I'm finally glad we're able to take it in, get it finished up. We built you something really special, man, really cool.
I am ready to see it.
Let's go
see
check
this
it out.
car.
Let's go see it.
All right. Yeah, man, I'm really excited to see this car. It's going to be fantastic.
Check this out.
Holy cow! Woo! That is... Out and saw that car. Oh my goodness, I was blown away. Just love at first sight. My wildest dreams, I had some ideas, but I couldn't even imagine anything like this.
All your buddies are going to be jealous.
Oh, they are. They are.
Frank, the rest of the world's going to be jealous about this car. You know, there's nothing like seeing a big old long car with a no roof sitting on the ground like this one. You can't tell how many hours and hours of metal work that went into it. You know, I thought it was a solid car. Once we got it blasted, came back, you know, it was way, way worse shape than I originally thought. So we had to end up replacing the front fender and the rear quarter and the hood also. Once we got the body straight, the fun begins. This car being a unibody, just cutting the roof off isn't that easy. So what we had to do is go in and basically built a frame inside the body of the car to make it super rigid.
Give it enough stiffness so it's not twisting all over the place. Yeah, that's awesome.
So once we did that, we were able to cut the roof totally off, and we went and capped the top of the doors, and then capped the whole deck. I don't think it gets any cleaner than this.
It feels like poised and relaxed, but at the same time like ready to jump, like a Black Panther ready to pounce.
Of course, on a car like this, you gotta have it low. So that's what we did. All custom air suspension on it, set all the way on the ground. That just makes this car. Check out underneath the hood.
All right, let's take a look at the motor. Oh my God, that is incredible. Wow.
Right?
Fantastic. Beautiful.
Late model 5.0. You got about 450 horsepower under the hood now. This thing will get it.
Can't wait to get behind the wheel and try it out for myself. Yeah.
I'm glad you like this. I know you kind of already seen it, but check out the interior.
All right, let's go look at the interior. That is awesome.
This is one of the most important aspects of the car itself. When, there's no roof, that's one of the first things you come up and look at. John and the guys, look.
They did an amazing job. It's incredible.
And you can see it looks really, really clean. They put wood in all the door panels, wood accents all throughout, and then painted it all white. So it looks like something that would have came in this car back in the 60s.
Yep. The interior of this car is incredible. The white finishes with the piping on the seats, the white washed wood, it's just clean and perfect. Blew me out of the water. You not only met my expectations, you so far exceeded them, I can hardly find the words to describe.
Each and every person in the shop helped out with this project. I can't thank them enough.
Woo! That is awesome.
This car looks amazing now.
Bill, this is so cool. I love it. This is amazing. Thank you so much. Fantastic.
You're very welcome.
Great car.
There's a lot of 1968 Chevys, but we need to make this one truly custom and not like any other.
We'll be building an entirely new dash, something that'll give us a new feel for a very old truck.
This is the first time making a frame with cut plate like this for extensive. It's only been a few months since we finished phase 1 on Ronald's 71 Suburban.
What brings you back? I need some more work done to it.
We can definitely weight this thing up.
I've discovered a huge no-no.
It's not only wrong, it's dangerous.
I'm always up for making things go fast.
This is the definition of custom.
I'm Bill Carlton. I built my first truck when I was 16. And ever since, me and my guys have been out here creating with our hands. Building the biggest, lowest, baddest custom trucks and cars in the game. People don't come here for what they need. They come here for what they want. This is Texas Metal.
I got a customer, Jose. He's got to have a 68. Jose been to a few places looking at a couple projects. None of them really worked out, but hopefully today we'll have a little more luck. What's up, Jose?
Hey, Bill, how you doing? Well, I've been looking for a 68 for a while, but I haven't found one that has caught my eye.
So my boy Rigo said he's got one in the back of his shop, man. Maybe we might be able to make a deal if you're interested. Maybe able to test drive this thing.
Let's check it out, see what he got.
We'll see what's up.
Rigo! What's up, baby?
Rigo's a welder who helps us out from time to time. He's got a 68 Chevy in the back that he's used a few parts off of that'll be right up our alley.
It's in the bag, man. I hope it can work out a deal. How's the body look? Body's playing straight?
It looks good, man.
For what y'all gonna do is right. All right, well, let's check it out.
Look at it.
The 68 truck has always been my dream truck since I was a kid. Growing up and going to car shows, it's the one that always stood out for me.
Here we go.
There it is. Well, Bill, it is a 68 cab. I was thinking we were gonna buy a whole truck.
Yeah. Rigo told me he had a truck. Rigo's got parts.
You got a nickel key.
You got the keys.
I know Bill's the master at this, but guess we gotta keep looking.
Well, man, all the ones we looked at, They look good till you get up to them and really start looking, and then you find all the little hidden problems.
Right.
The advantage to something like this is you see all the problems. There's nothing hidden here.
Right, right.
You know, so getting a vehicle, well, parts like this is kind of a head start. This actually save a few hours of teardown time.
I see what you're saying, you know, maybe it saves some time, but, you know, is it really feasible for us to buy a truck in pieces like we have it now?
Man, everything's here. The bed's clean, which is really hard to find. The door's decent, fenders, hood, and that's pretty much everything we need to really start building a truck like this.
But there's a reason I came to Bill. I trust him. If he tells me that this is enough parts to build my dream truck, I'm going to roll the dice, and we'll see what he can come up with.
Man, we don't need 85% of the truck. Okay. We're just going to toss it and start anyway. So you want, you know, a full custom chassis, suspension, the brakes, new wheels, tires, crazy engine, and interior. I mean,
you'll have to tear it apart anyways.
I think it's a heck of a start, man.
Right, right. Yeah, I want that truck that's a showstopper, that's a little unique. If you think you and your team can give me my dream truck with these parts, I think we can take it off Rigo's hands.
Sure, let's go holler at Rigo. You know, I kind of like the fact there's not too many in 1968s anymore. There's only so many made. If you find a 1968, it's either way built out, way pricey, or it's just way too far gone. There's very few are in between. This 68 is in a lot of pieces. Most shops that see a project like this and just keep walking by. And this one would have just continued to rust and just fall apart, cease to exist in so many years. But with the skill we have here, the tools we have here, the manpower we have, the knowledge we have, we're going to create something really cool.
Man, I wonder when the truck's getting here. Got some parts for us?
This is it.
Man, one of these days they're just going to come with the steering wheel and expect us to build something. I hope there's some more parts in the van.
We got everything we need right here. We don't need the frame, we don't need the interior, we don't need all that stuff a truck usually comes with. It's a head start, Tyson.
Thanks, boss.
Look, you can see inside of the cab. All the problems are exposed right now. We know exactly what we need to do, and we're good. It's a great start.
Definitely know what we don't have to.
To really set this thing apart from all the other ones on the road, we're going to start with a huge motor in this thing. You know, about 800-900 horsepower is what I want. A full custom chassis front to back because Jose wants to put it all the way on the ground with these huge wheels, 26 by 16s in the back. Fabricated rear end, smooth bed, everything, all the sheet metal contoured and painted all body color. You know, as far as the firewall, we're going to cut all that completely out and make a new one. Some with some bead roll panels in, something that looks really cool. It's nothing for you guys.
You got this, Tim. You have a plan for the interior?
We're going to let John just roll with it and go crazy. As far as the dash, that thing has to be cut completely out. I can't stand these dashes that are in these trucks. We're going to build every piece and put a ton of stereo in it. Want it really loud also. As for the doors...
Got doors?
Yes, we got doors. You know, that's a huge head start too. To have flush mount glass put in this thing, it's going to be totally custom. Step ahead right there. It's easy. Hope I didn't jinx myself on it. Come on, man. Let's get this thing off here.
Let's do it.
You know, the good thing about getting a truck in this shape, we don't have to spend a lot of time tearing it down. We sent the cab straight to blast, and because that's all we have is the cab, it came straight back. And it's in pretty good shape. But we're not done tearing it down, because now John's going to make room for a custom dash.
So we're going to do something in this truck that's going to give us a nice new feel for something that's been done over and over and over. You know, you can only beat a dead horse so long until you just throw it away and buy a new horse. So, new horse. The plan here is first, we've got to get rid of all this old dash. We'll be cutting cutting from door to door, all the way across the top, unbolt it, and just throw this whole thing away. We're going to be building an entirely new dash, new instrument cluster, AC controls, something that'll give us a nice new feel for a very old truck. Now there's nothing left to do but everything.
Yeah, but everything.
I'm starting to work on the 68 Chevy frame. Jose wanted something just totally different. He's like, hey, just make me something that's unique. So with a truck that's super low to the ground with air suspension, it's pretty common to see frame rails coming up, protruding through the bed floor and going over the axle. Well, in this case, I want to show off the axle itself is the beauty of the suspension. So you look down into the bed and you see just custom axle with suspension going underneath of it and not really seeing a traditional frame. So I think that's what's going to be the cool aspect of this whole build. Most of the link bar setups that we do is just a 2x2 box tubing with a block on it and they bolt to the axle. Well, this is going to be just as different. This chipboard is going to represent our link bar. So it's going to bolt to the frame and come back and grab and just hold the rear end. We're going to burn 4 plates at a 1/4 inch plate and then come all the way back to the back side of the frame and then box it all in. Just to save a little time and effort, I'm going to have 2x4 box tubing to here, and then I'm going to graft it to what we're going to build. There. The next step is just transferring everything that's on the table onto my piece of paper so Jesse can burn it out, figured out. Got my saddles figured out. I got my frame rails figured out. Off to Jesse. The plasma table about 12 years ago, and almost every car that's came through here since, we made a part or parts with it. But like all good tools, especially ones you use every day, they wear down. So we ordered a brand new, way better table. But I got one more job for this one. Need your help. All right, I want you to burn these link bars out for me. 4 of these 1/4 inch material, 4 of these 1/4. And the same with the frame rails. All right. This is probably going to be our last job on the old Vern table. We got that brand new one coming in. So let's put the whole one to work one last time. All right.
Okay, so what I'm doing now is all the measurements that I got off the cardboard that Bill gave me, I have to put on here. We're going to cut 4 pieces of each, which will make it 8 total. All right, so this is going to be the last time this machine is going to be used. Old Betsy here, this is it for her. Those look good. I like how they came out. They came out real clean. Clean them up. Polish them out. Take them over to Bill. That was the last run for this machine. Man, I can't wait to use the new one.
There's a good reason why 68 C10s are so popular. With that classic body style, there's a lot of room for customization. For me, the difference between an average C10 and an over-the-top C10 is most definitely the details, like a John Burgess one-off handmade dash.
This is essentially the foundation for the dash. Everything's going to attach to this and be built from this structure out. So I want to make sure that this piece lines up and gets in here exactly where we want it, nice and smooth and even. Because if not, we're going to see it in the end. And with this being the dashboard, you're going to be sitting here staring at it all day, every day as you're driving this truck. So you'll see what's wrong with it. So we want to make sure we take the time to get everything just right. We'll get it secured in place and get ready for Brian's pieces.
Got a delivery!
Just in time.
Ooh, hot off there. Hot. Don't touch it.
Well, I just getting everything marked out here where they're all going to go. I'll mark them. You want to cut them and we'll get them glued?
I'll cut them.
Got jigsaw ready to go.
Ready to go. Let's do it.
On pieces to the puzzle. Perfect.
Look who it is.
Oh man, he's back.
Think still looks good?
Man, it does. It's only been a few months since we finished phase 1 on Ronald's 71 Suburban. It came in pretty dated, but it left with a huge custom lift, big wheels and tires, and a completely custom interior, dash, headliner, seats, and audio. You know, after he saw it, I can tell Ronald got bit by the customization bug. And sure enough, he's already back.
What's going on, Bill?
What's happening?
How you doing, buddy?
Man, how you doing?
Tim?
How was your drive?
It was good, man.
How's that thing doing, man?
It's awesome. Turning heads everywhere I go.
Yeah.
It draws a crowd.
Man, that thing's still looking good.
It's beautiful, man. I'm thrilled with it.
Man, that's always good to hear.
Oh, always, yeah.
What are you doing? What brings you back?
I need some more work done to it.
Phase 2?
Phase 2.
All right, now you're talking.
Drove it around a lot, had a good time with her. Phase 2 is now on my mind. The bug bit me, and I'm totally into it. You know, I really want to take this truck to the next level.
So, Ron, what you thinking on phase 2?
I'm thinking I need more power in the motor. I need something to beef it up a little bit. I mean, it's good the way it is, but it's a big truck. It needs some power in it to push her around.
And some big wheels and tires.
It sure is, man. It sure is.
Let's check it out.
All right.
Ron, it's definitely a little underwhelming, right?
Definitely.
I mean, but you got a great platform. I mean, the LS in it is definitely the way to go. I mean, we can definitely wake this thing up.
I'm sure you can.
You know, I think what this engine compartment needs is a supercharger on this thing. New intake, you know, new exhaust all the way out the back, and some painting underneath here. You know, bring the body color into the engine compartment and just make it so, you know, you can be proud of this thing when you pop the hood.
I won't be afraid to open her up.
Yeah.
Let people see this part.
I agree, man. We need to add some color, add some style, take off this stock valve cover, stock air cleaner.
That's gotta go.
I think everything in here's gotta go.
I'm trusting you, Bill.
This thing's gonna be right. You know, it's a shame having a custom truck where you can't pop the hood. So I'm glad Ronald wants to fix up this engine compartment. I think something else that might be pretty cool on here is, the thing looks mean coming down the road at you, but maybe adding some aftermarket bumpers to really just finish off the attitude of it.
Yeah, it's got a lot of attitude right now, but you're right. I think some bumpers on will set her off.
Yeah.
Another thing is, I'm getting up there in age, man. And my knees can't take jumping out of this thing all the time.
We lifted it too high for you?
It's a little too high, man. So, some nice steps on there, whatever you think, you know, to fit the vehicle, you let me know.
Would definitely get you hooked up with that, but you know, wouldn't want to put a Nerf bar or anything on this. It just looks too clean from the side, not seeing the steps. So we'll get some retractable ones so you can still get in it easy, but
I agree.
You know,
I'd rather not know that they're even there. I think that's the way to go.
That sounds cool, man. Let's get this phase 2 going, go make it official.
Sounds good.
A customer always tell you, hey, I'm going to come back, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. Well, when they actually come back, they come into the parking lot, you see them back, you know we're doing a good job. We're doing what we're supposed to do. It's time for phase 2. I know exactly what happened. Once a customer gets their car for a little while, they drive around, put miles on it, you know, their brain starts working. They start thinking about, you know, what they need, what vehicle better. That just goes to show you, you know, when you're bit by the custom bug, you get that feeling. You just got to have more and more and more. You know, just like any part of the project, especially like a phase 2, I just love that progression. I love how the project evolves, even bigger and better.
What's going on, buddy?
You remember we did this truck a while back, put the lift kit on it and all the interior? We took it back home. He wanted to just drive it for a while, and now he's saying he doesn't have enough power. So now we're going to put a Pro Charger in here, and then we're going to put a front runner kit on the front, so that'll dress up all the motor. Probably put some headers on this thing, let the air flow out of the motor a little better. He wants to just clean up the engine bay, just make it look where if he pops the hood, it's presentable.
I mean, it's decent, but I'm sure he wants it a whole lot better, right?
Yeah, he wants to add some bumpers, because, you know, the truck's lifted now, and in your face, you just kind of see the stock bumpers. So we're going to add something like a steel bumper on front and rear.
Some nice aggressive bumpers on it. Definitely wake this thing up.
You know, and when building these trucks, it's never done. It could be phase 10. You're still going to add something.
Yep, I'm still not done.
In order to get more access to the engine compartment, I've asked Edgar and the guys to pull the front end off.
The Fab guys are gonna put a supercharger on this thing. So what I need to do, I need to take off pretty much the whole front end of this vehicle so they can have space to work on it and do what they have to do. I put tape lines all over the front end. So when everything is off, put it back together, it should be the same way. Ahí, go up, whoa, whoa, whoa. No, the other way, the other way.
Ponemos en medio.
Putting this engine apart, you know, you can tell it looks like it has a ton of miles on it, which is typical, you know, road dirt, road grime, everything from driving your vehicle, which this man did. But it's all coming off very nicely. What I'm doing is cleaning all the intake ports, and I'm gonna mask all that up, tape it up, so nothing will get inside the cylinder heads. Something gets in there, gets through the valve, goes in the combustion chamber, it'll mess up pistons, valves, all kinds of stuff. We don't want that to happen. That's why I don't wear wedding rings. Oh no. There's a big notch in this frame, which somebody made in order for the exhaust to clear. It shouldn't have been this big. When you got a notch frame like this, you got to go back and put some kind of reinforcement back in there because you just took out a lot of strength. And driving around with notches like this is really dangerous. So we got to build it back up the right way.
When we built the lift for the 71 Suburban, the headers were hiding in the cutout section of the frame. Only after we removed everything could we see it. You know, it's not only wrong, it's dangerous. It makes the whole frame weak. So John's got to fix those frame rails before we do anything else.
The issue you have with this is you don't have very much structure right here in this area. How thin it is to the wall when you're driving, going through rough terrain or whatever. It makes the frame twist and bend and everything. When it does that, it causes cracks. So what we're gonna do is go back and repair this, grind this up, clean it up real nice, make it look like it's never been cut before. Now I got those grinded down. I'm ready to cut out the plate to go in there. So we got us 1.5 by 5 inches, 3/16, same thickness as the frame that we're gonna patch back up in here. But first I gotta get this piece to fit in there perfect. Once that's done, we'll get it welded in. I think it should fit in there now. One of the best things you can do when butt welding some plate together is make a nice bevel on the edges. Wherever you're gonna butt to, you do it on the plate and the material so you get a nice V groove in there. When you lay your weld down in there, it penetrates all the way through the bottom end of the plate. And you only gotta weld the top. You won't have to get to the bottom because your penetration will go all the way through. Got that fully welded in, a little smooth out and it'll be good. We got the strength back in here. It's good as new.
Jesse finished making the plates for the custom frame on the 68 chassis. So now all we got to do is box those plates in. You know, this is the first time making a frame with cut plate like this for extensive. We never just really had the time to take the time to make a custom chassis like this because it is a ton of work. Jesse did a real good job of cutting out this 1/4-inch plate in the shape of a frame. So the next step we're going to do is wrap some 2-inch flat bar all the way around the shape of the plate. And we're gonna box it in, weld it, grind it, and it's gonna look like it's a bought piece. So what we'll do is just bend this by hand. You see we've got a flat spot here, so it needs to be a little bent, a little more right here. So bend it a little more right there. Alright, see if you can get one rubbed into that. Alright. You see just the layout, the drawing, the cutting, the shaping, the welding, and even the grinding. It takes 10 times more than just a regular chassis. Just a little bit. Just a little bit, move it down a little bit. So we're putting a lot of extra time into making Jose something really, really cool, really sculpted, and really special.
So as you heard Bill say, this is a first for extensive. I'm new to the shop, so this is a first for me also. Kind of got thrown in the mix, but it's the only way you're going to learn. It's cool to be able to be working here and be working on something that's never been done here also.
You know, we got a lot of tools around here to do all kind of different metal shaping, but, you know, sometimes just way more efficient just to grab the metal and just start manipulating it by hand. And, you know, that's the true definition of working with your hands and being handcrafted.
All right, I got this one close to Bill's template. A couple more bends, and it should match. It's gonna work, guys.
While we're boxing in the 68 Chevy's frame piece by piece, over in interior, John and Brian are moving on to the next stages of the custom dash.
You know, the structure's really coming along. Everything's starting to come together and take shape. We got to have some place to put a headlight switch. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to attach that to the dash pad and make that part of the dash pad, and it'll come down and sit on top of the dash right here. Sits here, you got your headlight switch right here. It'll all tie together. It'll look pretty cool. The other thing about these things, they're organic. They kind of take shape and do things as you work along. So as Brian's over here doing the body work and getting the lines in and everything's starting to take shape, you can really see it and know where you're headed. And you know, you get to add those little touches to it along the way to make sure that everything flows perfectly and just nice. The cool part about it, the organic part of it, is it grows as you go. So it's enjoyable. Look what I got.
Oh, how'd you get that thing?
8-9 weeks out. We got it in a week, so wow. Can't complain.
You know.
Now all we have to do now is find out if that internet template works out.
Time to cut it.
We finally got the cluster in that we ordered online. I looked all over for a template. They didn't offer one to print out. Cheated a little bit. I blew the screen up and took a measurement until it all fit, traced it out, and transferred it. So now's the moment of truth. See if this thing's actually going to fit or not.
Boom, baby.
All right, man, you got it all cut out.
It's all cut out.
There it is.
Moment of truth. Here we go. I got my toes crossed. Don't even worry about it.
Okay. Man, there's no way I got that close off of that template on the computer screen.
Bruh, it fits.
No way. That thing fit that good.
I mean, look, dude. I mean, we're within 1/8 of an inch. Just need a little mud to make it dead on perfect. But, I mean, you can't get no closer than that. Just guessing.
Right on. Cool.
Sweet.
Well, let B's Mud Palace go to town.
Time to mud it up.
We found a really aggressive front bumper for the 71 Suburban. You know, we couldn't find the exact right look for the rear bumper, so we're going to make it out of quarter. He's got a press big enough to bend steel that long and that thick.
What's up? All right, man. Dan said you had a little project going on for me?
Yes, sir.
We got a bumper here?
Yeah.
Cut out a 1/4 inch?
1/4 inch by 75 inches.
It's going to be some heavy-duty bumper here.
Yes, sir.
All right, we'll get it done. You can come with me.
All right, let's do it.
All right. This metal here is real thick metal. It weighs about 500 pounds a sheet, 10 pounds per square foot. So that's what we're working with. All right.
It's really cool that my dad can just give me a couple pieces of paper and some measurements and dimensions. I give it to him, and he knows exactly what to do.
All right, what you got now? You got 2 inches right here?
Got 3 1/4, 7 1/4 altogether.
All right, we're going to get this show on the road here. This is a 12-foot long press brake. It's 250 tons pressure that it'll bend 90 degrees. If you need a big piece of metal bent, you need to come see this brake right here.
Now, let's see.
Yeah, it looks good, man.
It does.
I think we got it.
Thanks, sir. I appreciate it.
With the Suburban's frame fixed, Edgar's color matched the firewall and the engine. Now it's time for Matt to wake up that LS.
Perfect.
Now that we got our motor back in it, get our Pro Charger on it. It's a belt-driven blower. It's going to force air into the motor. With more airflow plus more fuel, you're going to get a lot more power. Motors have always been my thing. They've always come kind of easy to me. I'm always up for making things go faster. This plate allows us to mount the blower to the factory pulley assembly. And now we can go ahead and install our head unit, which will attach right to the bracket off to the side here. This is just the idler pulley here. So the motor's power will spin the crankshaft and the belt through all the idler pulleys to the blower pulleys to create all the airflow that'll come out of here. All right, so now we're gonna put our sheet metal intake on. So this intake allows for better airflow. The way the runners are built, it's designed for the air to travel smoother into the motor with less restriction. So not everything has to do with performance in the custom world. Sometimes you just want to spend that money to get your engine to look good. Part of the reason we're changing these valve covers. Factory, all the coils sit on the LS valve covers, and these ones come with no provisions for coil packs, and we're gonna hide them just for the overall appearance. It's gonna be a lot better looking. Next step, we're gonna put our throttle body on. It controls the airflow into the motor. When you mash it to the floor, it pulls it open and allows all the air that this Pro Charger is gonna create to push right in there. We got that put on. We can put our AC compressor on, and then we'll move on to putting the main drive valve for the blower on. Okay, so we're gonna install a set of Shorty stainless headers. These do help with performance, but they also can make it look badass. Like it?
Man, it's huge improvement. You know, this truck's gonna get a whole lot of attention no matter where it goes. And he's gonna have some more power.
Quite a bit more power.
Those tools come together. The 68 C10 frames really come together nice. So we got our pieces we cut on the table, our 1/4-inch plate. It's gonna be the size of our new frame rail. We got our flat bar that we shaped to match the contour of the pieces that we cut. So we're gonna put them together, weld them all up, grind them down, nice clean lines, and all totally custom. Step is just tacking the top part of the frame in. You know, just like any project, you got to take your time. You know, the challenge to this is to not have any flat, jerky parts, and you want everything all nice and smooth and consistent. You know, we got to make sure everything is perfect, no flaws in this whatsoever, because everybody's going to be looking.
Thank you.
You know, after a whole lot of cutting, welding, grinding, hand bending, we're at the point we finally start to put pieces together, and it's finally going to start looking like frame.
Man, this thing looks cool.
Man, it's getting there, huh?
I haven't seen one of these before, or one like this.
Yeah, I've never made one like this. I've never even seen a frame that goes under the frame, comes back and just curves around everything. This is the definition of custom. Here, help me hold this. He can clamp this. This one's gonna finish up on the back quarter of the frame. Damn, that looks good. You know, we're gonna be putting a lot of heat, a lot of welding, and a lot of grinding on this. You know, so I want to maintain this being level, straight, to worry about it moving. If it does move, I can see it coming off the ground and how to correct it as we're building it. You see the back part of the frame, everything flows together. It, you know, starts on one side, just goes all the way around like a old school slot car track. You know, once this is all capped in, that'll finalize the rear part of the frame. Pop in the suspension, the whole back half is completely done. Good morning.
Good morning.
How y'all doing?
It's going.
Give me some good news on the engine transmission for the 68.
The motor and trans that the customer ordered is not ready yet, and we don't know what it is or when it's going to be here.
That always complicates things, right?
Yeah, he can't get a hold of his transmission guy, so we don't know when it's coming, specs, we don't know anything about it.
So we can't mock anything up or anything?
Nothing at all.
And our lift space is hot commodity. We're super busy right now, so we can't afford to everything, and then it's still not here. And then the truck's stuck on the lift. So what I think I'll do is just pause the whole thing. You know, I'm disappointed for sure, but I've been in the game long enough to know every build has its own path. You know, sometimes you hit a bump, but I guarantee when we get our parts, we'll get back at it. You know, and then Jose's gonna get his 68 Chevy of his dreams, and then some. Let's have everything all lined up, that way we can pump it out.
Yeah, sounds good.
Next time I come in, give me some good news.
A try.
See ya. Come on, Cleve. This shop never stops. One might slow down a little bit, but at the same time, phase 2 of the Suburban is almost complete. We got our super strong 1/4-inch plate all bent at a nice little angle, so it's gonna look really good up against the truck. So the next step is just tacking it to our bumper brackets that we made and start building. Yeah.
You want to just 45 this back?
Just kind of getting an idea, kind of seeing what looks cool, what doesn't. You might add on, it just depends on how it starts looking, how it starts taking shape. Maybe something like that. Just another part of the custom creative process of making something cool. Yeah, whatever looks cool, that's what we're gonna do.
Man, this is rounded right here, and this is kind of stepped to go with the bumper. So I'm trying to manipulate it enough to where I can make this have a bend on this side to follow this, but then I'll probably make it come out, and I'll just cut it with the rounded part, make it follow the bumper.
Let's see what it looks like.
The good part about working at a shop like this, you can do just about anything. Just whatever you think up and create, you can do it on this piece of metal. Alright, now we have all the pieces made. They're all tacked in place. We have the shape to take out that big area we had right there on the body. Kind of makes it flow with the truck now. And then we can pull the whole bumper off, weld it out, and put it back on. Next thing we gotta do is make a license plate box. It's gonna serve 2 purposes. It's gonna hold the license plate, and if he ever tows, take the license plate off of it, and his receiver hitch is right here behind it. I knew this, but if you ever want to tow something, it kind of disappears when the license plate's on it. If you ever do need to tow something, take the license plate off, put your receiver hitch in, pull it. Whenever you get done, put the license plate back on, and it kind of hides all the receiver hitch, all that. Now, cut the excess off, then we'll put it back up and weld it on finally. We can weld it up here, all the way around, and then come back with a big flat pad and just go down it until we work it down where there's no more weld. It carries the same body lines, but you don't ever get into this hard edge, and it just looks like a more finished product.
Now that the metal work is done, the bumpers can get powder coated and then off to body and paint. Matt's all done waking up this LS with a Pro Charger. We made mounts to install the retractable steps, and phase 2 is complete. Now we're ready to send this truck back to Ronald once again.
Than what it is now. Started off with a little shack, maybe like one wall full of parts. I was just answering phones, most basic stuff ever. And then as it grew and we started selling more parts, more phone calls, more customers, more builds, more appointments, and it's where we're at now. Growing up, I was kind of a tomboy. My dad didn't have any sons for a long time, and so he raised us like boys almost, you know, to fend for ourselves, changing brakes, oil changes, stuff like that. So everything that my dad taught me, I brought here, plus the bagged world, the bagged scene. I learned a lot from Bill, and there's no one better to learn from but him. Working with nothing but guys, it's like having nothing but big brothers around. They're always joking, they're always playing, they give, you know, a hard time, but at the end of the day, it's worth it. We're just one big family.
Real deal, Bill. What's up, Bill?
What you up to?
How y'all doing today?
Good, man. Big bro in the neighborhood. We're just sliding by to get some inspiration. You know, you got something going on over here, man.
You know, I always like when Slim and Raymond come by, but today, you know, I can tell they're on a little mission to see which way the tree. They're in the right spot.
You know, I mean, we've been sitting on the same fleet for a minute, man. This time we gotta blow their mind one more time, man. The Mac's still holding, but, you know, we ready to do some more builds.
Yeah.
Just trying to find out what I'm gonna do next, man. Is it gonna be old school, new school, big truck, or you know what I'm saying? What? Like, get us some ideas.
Man, you already know we just always lifting something up, dropping something down, cutting something up.
What's up, Bill? Ready to load a Suburban out?
You got a Suburban?
Yeah, man. You want to check it out?
Yeah.
You know what better time for Slim and Raymond to stop by and check out our latest build? We're just about to ship off phase 2 of Ronald's latest and greatest Suburban.
Oh, man. Look at this, bro.
That's an old school.
You thought it was a new one, huh?
Yeah, I thought it was a new one. That's the old 3-0. Hold on. Nothing better not get in the way of that, man.
Yeah, that thing's heavy.
That's for real.
Yeah,
you don't ever see these going down the road.
Never, man. I ain't seen one in so long. I ain't never think about the old school bourbon. You would think outside the box and do something like this, huh? It's crazy.
Well, you know, we're just finishing phase 2 of the build. What we did in phase 1, put it on the lift, ripped out all the old suspension.
You see, man, that's
nice 4 links front and rear with air, so it's fully adjustable too.
I don't know why I go up and down too.
Oh yeah, man.
That's nice.
Come on.
You know, put some nice wheels, nice tires, and just to give it that mean look.
That's sick, man.
That's nice.
Full interior redo.
Yeah, that's crazy. I love this here, man. This look like a Slum Thug car.
It was, something new.
It'll take Bill to make you want an old school 3-door Bourbon, man.
I like the wheels on there. You see them wheels?
I love it, man. I love it, bro.
You know, we took off with it, and sure enough, came right back with it. He got bit by the bug and just, you know, had to have more. So phase 2 was getting it back in the shop. We just molded in some cool bumpers for it just to finish off that mean, aggressive look. Weld it all up, grind it all down, paint it, color match it, and we just fully built the back one, just all out of 1/4-inch material too. So you ain't got to worry about backing into something.
Nah, the bumpers look good.
Oh man, they look crazy.
You know, once we got the bumpers right, you know, we had to make it a little easier to get in and out of it for him too, because
everybody ain't tired of Slim Thug.
Yeah, you know, we had to hook him up and do a little something special for him.
Okay, let's see what you
check it out.
See what's going on over here.
Right.
Look at that. Still like on a new bourbons.
Right.
Yeah, man. Looks and
right.
And it was here too.
Yeah, it's all tucked up. You don't even see it. So
that's dope, man.
His last problem was the car looks so good on the outside, looks good underneath, looks good inside.
Okay.
But man, everywhere you go, people ask, "Hey, what's under the hood?" You'd be like, "Oh, nothing." You know, couldn't really show it off. So we hooked him up there.
Let's see what you got going under the hood. Come on, man. Whoa! Come on, man. Look at him, man. You see that there, man? What you trying to do? Race it or what?
Yeah. What you doing?
Oh man, that's
wasn't expecting that now, right? You know, so what we did, just a straight pull out, LS out of a truck. It wasn't anything to show off.
You just a pro charger?
They trying to race it and they put a pro charge on a bourbon.
On a bourbon.
You know, smooth all the core support, smooth the firewall, and finish it off with pro charge. Give him some power too.
Yeah.
He's got a complete package now.
It looks good, man.
Right.
Real good. Well, Bill, you know we came through here for a little inspiration. I'm damn sure inspired, man. So yeah, me and my brother, we gotta find us old school.
Gotta find us one.
Man, let me know what y'all figure out. You know,
sir.
You know where we're at.
You know we're gonna let you know real deal. Yes, sir.
Slim, I can't, because you know we're ready. And Ronald, the truck's on its way to you. When you get tired of everything that we've done now, bring it on back. We'll start phase 3.
Oh my God, Bill, what's that,
The 85 C10, these things look so good low to the ground. He just wants us to go big on this thing.
New everything.
Free reign to do extensive chassis, big wheels, big brakes, big motor, full interior.
Do it all.
Now we have room
for activities. 1923 Sea Bucket. See the movement there.
He's out cruising, turns a corner, and the rear end breaks loose. You're lucky to be here.
Oh, this is beautiful, man.
I'm Bill Carlton. I built my first truck when I was 16. And ever since, me and my guys have been out here creating with our hands. Building the biggest, lowest, baddest custom trucks and cars in the game. People don't come here for what they need. They come here for what they want. This is Texas Metal.
From Mario, first-time potential customer to come by and check out his 85 Chevy. We'll see what he's got. What's happening, Mario?
Not much, man. How are you?
Hey, good morning, man.
All right.
Good morning. This it, huh?
That's it, yeah.
85?
85.
The 85 C10, you know, I love these trucks. I'm a little biased on these because I had one of these in high school. This was my first truck. You know, this truck is what I started messing with. I started learning how to customize on this body style right here. This thing looks like it's in pretty good shape.
Yeah, it runs good, but I think it's gonna run better when you build it.
So what do you want to do with this thing? Lift it?
I want to slam it on the floor.
Definitely want it on the ground, huh?
Yeah.
Heck yeah. These things look so good low to the ground. As far as new engine, interior, everything,
new everything. Frame, paint, engine.
You just want something custom.
Yes, sir.
And I like that.
Yeah.
We can build you a full custom chassis, you know, wide 24 by 15s on the back of this.
Okay.
24 by 10s on the front. Lower this thing really low on a nice new custom frame.
Okay.
Just a total showstopper.
Okay.
You have any color preference in mind? I see you have the orange trucks.
Yeah, my orange trucks, that's what I want.
I see. You want this thing orange, so when you pull up at the job site, everybody knows El Jefe's here in the orange truck.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Heck yeah, this thing look
350.
Man, Mario, so just chunk this. Just start with a brand new and something with a whole lot of power. We'll shave the firewall, come up with some nice, cool, custom panels in this thing.
Okay.
Really, when you pop the hood, you just get that wow factor.
That's what I want.
Let's check out the interior of this thing.
The interior is nice.
Definitely can't have an orange truck with blue interior, so this has got to go.
Yeah, it's got to go.
The new headliner, new carpet,
new
door panels will make this thing look good. In the bed of this thing, you're not going to be hauling anything to the job site.
No, sir.
Nothing like that. We'll build sheet metal panels all the way around this thing, smooth out the bed floor, and just bring the body color all inside thing to really make the inside of this bed look just as special as the outside and interior and the engine compartment. Long gone were the days just spraying a bed liner or just painting what's there. You got to come with it now. You got to create something totally unique and custom.
And what do you think about my logo, a diamond?
You got to have your diamonds.
Should we put a real one or just put like a paint one?
Man, that's up to you. You bring us a big diamond, we'll mount it in there.
Okay.
This truck brings me way back. I mean, when I was 16, my dad got me. This body style itself takes me back to driving around, listening to music real loud, and just starting to get the feel for customization. Thinking back in auto mechanics class, heating the coil springs, taking out leaf springs in the back, and just riding home with my truck super low to the ground. You know, my dad was really angry with me. It's amazing to even think about. And I can't wait to get into this thing, get it tore apart, and really get the creative juices flowing again and create something really cool and unique for the square body world. Every part of this truck is going to be custom, and it's going to be just like nothing you've ever seen before. Come on, Timmy.
Trip down memory lane or what?
Right.
This kind of remind you of getting in trouble a little bit when you were younger, huh?
A lot of it. There's a lot of C10s out there. A lot of the square bodies. You know, seems like everybody has one in the garage. So it's going to take a lot to really stand out. He just wants us to go big on this thing. You know, the first thing we need to do is tear this thing apart and just start from scratch.
Full chassis?
Full chassis, really low to the ground.
What's that turn them big old tires?
Mario wants a Corvette engine, so I'm thinking probably an LS 7.0, you know, LS7, something like that.
Oh, wow. Man, with that much power, you're just going to see a street going down the road.
Yeah, an orange street. His company colors are all orange, so we're going to paint this orange also. And we're going to incorporate, you know, his company logo somewhere. As far as the interior, just gut everything in here. I mean, I love these trucks, but this is one of the ugliest interiors you can get. There's no creature comfort in there at all. These square bodies just have no style. We'll just take the cab and front end off this thing and roll the rest out. We don't need it.
So basically, he's giving us a free rein to do everything. Extensive chassis, big wheels, big brakes, big motor, full interior.
Do it all.
Well, let's get started.
This is going to be cool.
Let me check the front.
Back when I customized my square body 30 plus years ago, I wasn't at the level of making handcrafted chassis yet, but now we are. And Tim and Jamie are tearing everything out, including the factory chassis, so we can get a fresh start.
So the bolt right here is, normally this is all kind of rotten. It's kind of expected, but got some skills right here. So I put this tool to work.
Now we got it down, all the bottom's loose. Disconnect these two mounts, roll that over. And we'll start wrapping everything on top of the motor.
All right, let's lift it up.
Mario wants this truck sitting on the floor, and a custom chassis makes that possible. So I measured front to back and drew a sketch for Tim and Jamie to get going on.
Now this is the frame for that blue square body. You know, square bodies always look good on the ground with a big tire at the back. You're a square body guy.
I love them.
You had a couple of them?
Yep. Okay, so I'll get everything ready at the saw, and we can get to cutting.
We'll lay the two frame rails on top of each other so we know exactly where they're cut. Now we got the pieces cut, they're beveled, ready to go together. The drawing on the table, we can line this up.
Bam, done. Now we can undo these clamps, go ahead and stand our frame up, start building it.
Now that the frame rails are built, we're going to get the right spacing. You know, the next step is just making everything lined up nice and parallel.
You got 131 and 9/16.
Nice and level. Gotta get my table level. We'll use this piece of 3-inch tubing to simulate the rear end itself, just so we're not manhandling the big rear end up here. Clamp it up here, get everything nice and square, and we'll just build the suspension right off of this. You know, the square body Chevy is the perfect candidate for a 2-link rear suspension. It's about 80% better than the factory leaf springs as far as body roll. You know, less moving parts, less problems you have way down the line. Me and John brought some tamales to work today. Tamales are a little cold, so I'm going to throw this string over the heater duct. Keep the tamales up about 15 minutes. We ought to be good. Cool. Man, by the time we get done with this suspension, we're going to have some hot tamales. Yeah. Ooh, damn. You know, frame's a little different. You know, we're at the very beginning stages of, you know, a full custom build, and the frame is one of the first things. This kind of kicks off the whole custom creative part of the process. Part of the creative process is making all the little bracketry, creating something cool and custom for each individual frame. So This one's going to be different from the one before. The next one we built, it's going to be a little bit different also. You know, everything's mocked up in place. We got our 2 links, we got our back mounts, we got our shock mounts, got our diagonal link. That's every component to the rear suspension. Time to get my tamales. Ooh, a little warm. Yeah, hot. You know, it's not only a fab table, it's a dinner table too, right?
I've had a few dinners right here.
Yeah. Hey, it's tamales, clean your hands too.
What good stuff.
Man, the old frame looks good.
Man, I was good thinking on the tamales too.
We finished the frame and rear suspension on the 85 C10 square body on the table. Now we're gonna get up under the body and start making those mounts. All right, man, let's get this thing all nice and straight, a string line down to it, and then we start making some cab mounts, and we'll finish it over the front.
Coming together, man.
Once we got it level, and we knew the foundation's 100% true, John's gonna connect the frame to the front cross member.
What we're gonna do is build a piece that connects from our under cab frame rail to our cross member. What we're gonna do is transfer this shape to this 4x2 box tubing. I'm gonna slice the bottom and we're gonna turn it into a 3x4 and it'll fit perfectly inside there. This piece I just cut out, you can see how it's wider on this end than it is over here. So once I cut the other side the exact same way, we're gonna get this edge. Now we should be right. Oh, look at that, look at that.
This 85 C10 just brings me back.
Now on with the grind, cuz.
I mean, no way we were at the level then as the level we are now, but with every craft, there's progression. And mine's been years and years in the making. And with all that experience, that means we can do it faster and better.
Man, that looks pretty good. Now we can continue off the front of the cross member to the front core support.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. 1923 T-Bucket here for you.
That's badass, man. It's fun to drive, huh?
That's a good fixture. Yes, it is. It is awesome.
This is a fiberglass replica of a 23 T-Bucket that comes in a kit. You know, there's not really many safety options, if you know what I mean.
It's got a 350 small block in it, putting out 400 horsepower.
That's nice in something that weighs what?
About 1,300 pounds.
Yeah, like a go-kart.
Yep.
You know, I see it's holding something together, huh?
Yeah. Well, I bought it a year ago on Halloween and finally took out for a nice ride. Took a turn, spun the rear end.
Man.
Crashed it right off.
That woke you up, huh?
Yep.
Let's see what you broke here.
Let's take a look at it. As you can see, the bungee cord here, holding up the suspension.
Oh, man.
And so, yeah, you can see the quite the movement there. Yeah.
Man, that is definitely not cool. Looking underneath this car, seeing what I'm seeing is unbelievable. He's lucky to be here with us today. Any kind of bracketry on suspension breaking like that, that's bad news. And if one breaks, there's no telling what else is going on underneath there. So what we'll need to do is get it on the lift and really inspect it, go through it, and make sure it's 100% safe for you so you don't have any more issues like this. This car's here for a specific repair, but you know, it just isn't gonna be right just to fix it and put it out the door. We're gonna go through it, make sure everything is 100% safe, and he's good to go on the road. Maybe when we're done, we'll heat these tires up and see if we can test these wheelie bars out.
I'm down for that.
Let's go do some paperwork.
You got it. Sounds good.
You know, a custom T-Bucket's just been around, I think, since the beginning of time. You know, these cars have been cool since they started customizing, and, you know, they're still cool today. You know, this car has the bare basics. You know, all you need is some parts and a little bit of skill. And in this case, very little skill. Because this car is built so simple, every component on it is very intricate and plays off another. And, you know, suspension brackets are one of those very, very, very important brackets that should never fail. You know, one of the worst things you can do is being broke down on the side of the road. You know, every custom car guy, that's happened to him. One of the most important things you need is that peace of mind in the back of your head, you know, to know that you're going down the road and you're going to be safe. We're going to get old Bill hooked up and he'll be out cruising again before you know it. Usually doggy. What you think, man?
And one tire's a little further back than the other.
Needs a little alignment, huh?
More, a little bit.
Right? The guy that owns this, he went on a ride, man. He's out cruising, turns a corner, and all of a sudden the rear end breaks loose and spins him around.
Oh.
Yeah,
God, he wasn't going down the freeway at 70, 80 miles an hour.
Right. Right. You know, back when you were a kid, you were riding a go-kart, didn't have nothing. That's part of the fun of just holding on real tight and giving it gas, right? But he dodged a bullet on this one for sure. Timmy, you know, the first thing we need to do is get it in the shop, get it up on the lift, and let's pull the axle out and just completely slick it. Let's cut all the old bracketry off so there won't be anything there that can fail later. We're going to start just totally fresh, make all new brackets, all out of 1/4 inch, make it super strong so there's nothing ever going to go wrong with this ever again. While it's up in the air, we'll inspect everything just to make sure it's 100%. Give him that peace of mind back. After a traumatic incident like that, you know that's going to be in the back of his brain. Like, oh my God, am I going to wreck again?
Anytime you feel any bump, it's going to be...
Yeah, it's going to be that way in the back of his head for a while, for sure.
Yeah. Basically, we're fixing something that should have been done right the first time that they just sold on the internet for somebody else to be their problem.
Job security. The only way to see how broken the bracketry is to take apart the rear suspension. So I asked David to do just that.
First piece off, 300 more. You can see how, look, they'll be driving down the road like that. Nice and neat. Yeah, I don't even have to do anything. This wasn't tight at all. More and more I'm under here, the more and more you see stuff that ain't right.
Look at this. This is not even, the weld is just breaking and cracking right here. It's horrible. If it wasn't just one bracket, it was going to be another one later. This is terrible. I've seen high school shop classes better than this. So what I want you to do, let's keep the caliper brackets. Okay. Let's keep the coilover brackets, and let's cut off the wheelie bar mounts. Just clean it all off, all right? Just cut right above the weld. I got you. You know, that way we're not gouging down in it. Just cut the bracket totally off, and then you can come back and just wash the weld off. And a lot of people try to get side to side and do that, but you're gonna blow chunks out of the housing itself. So cool, let's get this thing out and get to cutting. That just goes to show you, when you buy a car online, don't just get in it and punch it, hold it to the floor, and just hope for the best. I mean, you really need somebody to look at it, inspect it, and make sure it's safe before you ride. I'm sure that 23T bucket looked good online, but man, we got to completely rebuild the brackets to make this drive straight. We got rid of all the old unsafe bracketry that was on here. The brackets for the coilovers, they're working fine. Just the welds are kind of iffy on it. Jimmy's beveling out the old welds and gonna weld right back over it. So that way we never have to worry about it again. Then we can get it out of the car, start building fresh. All the way in right there. That's the one that broke off. Yes. Bushings are just totally shot. You see the hole through there? That might have led to the shift and the jarring of it, making it snap. To try to source that correct bushing it's just going to take way more time than this is worth. So I think what we'll do is just make a whole new 4-link, so there's no rubber bushings in it. It's all, you know, solid swivel mount, so won't be any more play stopping and starting. You know, anytime we do multiples of anything like this, we always try to set up a jig so there's no mismeasuring, there's no mistakes. You know, once you have your measurements right the first time, they're going to be right every time.
All right, so I'm going to go ahead and cut this 1 1/4, 10.5 inches. That's going to be our upper link bars. Go ahead and cut the ends off so another square. Then I'll go ahead and grab my 10 inches, cut that, put it in the pipe cleaner, sand it, bring it back to Bill, start making link bars. So you can see I got my bungs welded in, got my heims in. Now we got 2 identical link bars. Well, these are not going to wear out like the rubber bushings are. It's got a lot more pivot to it. It's just all out better bushing.
Up the front end on the 85 square body.
Next step is putting the motor in. We'll put the motor in. We got to have enough clearance for the transmission right at the cab. You know, I want to pull the doors off, the front end off. Go this way. It just gives me a lot of extra space and a lot of room to work. It's going to make everything go a whole lot faster and not having to climb in and be crinkled up. Check out these jumps. You know, this tells you how far stereos have come over the years. Somebody in the 80s, this was something that was probably pretty loud. You go down the road and, oh man, check this out. It's been a good run, guys. Time to go. And now we have everything stripped down. Gives us plenty of room to get in here. We're going to need to cut this out because the new transmission we're running. We're probably going to need about 6 or 8 inches in here and clearance it and put the body all the way on the ground. Now we have room for activity. What we're doing now is we're going to clean up this whole firewall. We're going to get rid of all pocket. This pocket's to make the water drain off from the windshield. So I'm going to cut below the pocket so that it keeps all this weather tight. No water gets inside the cab.
As you can see, Timmy did a nice job of making all these holes. Now it's my turn to go back and fit them all back in. I need a panel on there so I can place the bulkhead fittings that go from outside the cab AC to inside the cab AC. Seems legit. Now we got this panel stuck in place, we can lay out a design of what we're gonna bead roll on this panel. We got all the major components laid out. The brake booster, steering column, bulkhead fittings for the AC. Now that that's all in place, we can get into the artistic point of it and drawing out everywhere we want to bead roll these panels. First thing is to kind of lay out a border on the perimeter around the whole edge. That way we don't go beyond that. Now we could draw something in between it and connect it. Now we got our designs laid out, we could take it over to the bead roller and follow the rolls on these lines and make some beads. Full throttle, baby. Didn't cut the holes out. We want to keep these plates solid, so when we form it with the rolls, it doesn't over warp the panel more than it should. We have our pattern transferred to give it this 3D contour with the bead roller. Not only does it give it style, it makes it a lot stronger. Now I'm gonna move on to the second one and get these put back on the firewall. Now we got them done, clamp back in, looks symmetrical, that's what we want. Now they can get loaded in. 6.0 LS is gonna give this square body some get up and go. We got a heart in place.
The 85 C10 built frame and suspension all mounted, and now the guys are getting going on slicking the bed out.
We need to smooth all this out. The sides, the bed floor, the notch cover, the tubs, get all that 100%.
10 more glands on every high part of the bed. And what we're gonna do is draw straight lines on this panel, and we're gonna drill holes. All those holes could get welded down to what's already here. That way this metal is bonded to this. That way if you're driving down the road, you won't have this making that rattling noise or anything, and it makes everything stronger because it's all tied in together.
All we're doing now is put some marks on here so we know where to grind the old paint off the bed.
It's paneling off all the inside of the bed, that way we don't have no open space. They'll all be smoothed out.
Alright, now we have the sheet in here. You can see the holes. It's shiny here, it's shiny on the bottom, which gives us a clean surface to weld to. Once we get all this welded in here, then we'll come back and we'll cut out where the tubs go. We'll put the notch cover. So when you look at this thing, it'll be a sheet metal tub, a sheet metal notch cover, a sheet metal tub, and all flat all the way around.
These 1923 T-Bucket kit cars are already missing a ton of safety features, but the rear end, it could have killed somebody. We're gonna rebuild this whole thing until I'm 100% sure it's safe to drive again.
The last thing I'm gonna do is add a cross member underneath there so we can come down and bring a bracket, hang on the outside of this bolt. This bolt supports every bit of the torque, power to the engine, right to the ground. I got the tab tacked into place. I'm going to pull this off, have the body guys prime it, and then put it back up. I've got the cross member all primed up. That way there's no rust back behind it. It's ready to weld it in. Last thing's paint after that. We color match all the revamped rear end right to Ford Racing Red. Good. Now we're going to reinstall the wheelie bars, the coilovers, and get these wheels back on the road.
Man, this thing looks a lot better. Looks safe, and I bet.
Yeah, it's going to be way better now. After a few unforeseen problems, redesigning, a little bit of fixing, it's finally time to give the T-Bucket back. What's happening, Bill?
How we doing, sir?
Man, doing good. Doing good. How you doing today?
Awesome. Excited.
Man, I bet. Bill, when you came in, you had a really cool car with a huge problem.
That I know.
Well, we got it in the shop, went through everything. We're going to give you that trust back, that confidence of knowing when you hit the gas pedal, it's going to go straight down the road with no brackets breaking.
Nice, that's what I'm looking for.
Well, let's check it out.
You got it. I'm excited. Look at this, baby.
Back going again?
Love it.
Yeah, man.
That's what I'm talking about.
What you think, man? It's all nice and straight now?
Yeah, 1000% better. They really cleaned up that axle. It's freshly painted. It looks awesome. Can't wait to get it back on the road.
Everything's where it's supposed to be now and super strong. First thing we did is get it on the lift and just pull the rear end out, ratchet straps and all. And just slicked off all the wheelie bar brackets and the 4-link brackets. Pretty much just hit them with a hammer and new 4 links and the bracketry. And then we had my boy Victor chrome them for you. So it looks, like it did when it was originally built.
See a couple added extra supports up underneath there.
It really needed that. That was the weak point of the whole suspension. That transfers all the torque from the engine itself right down to the ground. All that was just hinging on one bolt. So we went in, made a little cross member, came down with another bracket, and
made it super strong for you. So
Not gonna hit my left arm this
never, ever gonna happen again. You can have all the confidence in the world that when you hit the gas now, everything's gonna stay where it's supposed to be and shoot you straight down the street.
Oh, I can see it already.
You know, we get a lot of projects through here, sometimes small, sometimes large, but in this case, very dangerous. This is the worst case scenario. Breaking off the rear end, it could have caused just a major catastrophe. But now, we got it all fixed. Well, Bill, we got to get your confidence back. That trust, right? So, what better way to do that? Let's go for a cruise.
Let's do it.
You know, it's really satisfying to get the T-Bucket back out on the road safely. And, you know, it's become a tradition. Shame.
Since you're new guy at the shop, this is your christening right here. It's kind of leaning over one side, so I'm thinking we're going to go up on this side a little bit. Keep on going. You got to make a bird perch, man. Think about the birds. Last piece, man.
All right. Boom goes the dynamite.
Nice. Welcome to the team, man.
Appreciate it, man. I'm glad to be a part of it, dude.
We smoothed the inside of the bed out with sheet metal, and we're putting in the new wheel tubs on the 85 C10.
There we go. We got 2 big old holes cut out for some big old wheel tubs for some big old wheels. What we're doing is making a shim so we could clamp the wheel tub to this bar and it'll be perfectly straight from side to side. Got these big old tubs in now. Now we could cap on the inside, get it all welded out.
Use a scribe that does a fine line. That's going to carry this radius 100%. So we cut it clean. We'll put it up here. We'll butt it. It gives a nice clean weld and it's nice fitment. Now we have the bed sides, the bed floor, the wheel tubs, the tub fillers. Everything's tacked into place. It looks really good, and it's time for a whole lot of welding.
14 3/4, 2 tons. John and Brian are making some killer sub boxes and kick panels.
So got the 85 square body C10 ready to go. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start with the subwoofer enclosure. With that, I'm gonna try to keep it as small as possible. We're gonna make 2 enclosures, tuck them into the corners.
Got my template made for my kick panels. Let's transfer this into some 1/4 inch, get my first base for my kick panel mounted up. Kick panel is down by where your foot is, where the emergency brake goes. These are big blank areas in this 85 Chevy, so we need to cover them up with something cool.
Next thing I gotta do is take my 3/4 inch MDF that I'm using for the baffle, and I'm gonna kerf it. That way I can get it to make that nice curve around the front of the box. Findy wood. Get that nailed in and we'll get the hole cut.
So these little chunks, so that I can get it to roll with the curvature of this kick panel here. And we'll trim it all down, shape it, body work it all in.
So we got the holes cut out in the box. Kerf looks beautiful. All we gotta do now is close up the wedge on the top. We're ready to get it molded in and wrap it and send it out the door.
Mario, the owner of the C10, wants his diamond logo somewhere in the bed of this truck. So John's gonna head home and knock it out.
Just getting off of work, making my ride home, but the day ain't over yet. Got me a little bit of homework. Working in the type of business like I'm in, we don't have 9 to 5s. We have 9 to whenevers. I got a CNC at home that I love messing with and try to knock this out for the guys. So welcome to the beginnings of my man cave. Unfinished project. As you can see, I'm so busy with other projects that I can't finish my personal project. And over here, we got this big old 5x10 CNC machine. It's actually like a robotic router. I can do me a file on my computer, transfer it over computer. So this Here's our diamond. See all the facets. Now that we got this all drawn up, what we're gonna do is run this on a piece of cheap MDF that's a quarter of the price of what the acrylic is. Because if it ain't right, we just wasted a couple $100 of material. Kind of hard to see all the facets in it, but they're there. So now we got a really good test item. Now I feel confident to cut the acrylic. 3, 2, 1. Ready, folks? Man, it's still heavy. Here we are with our finished product. It looks nice. This is gonna look really good in the bed of that C10.
We're done with the metalwork on the bed, so we're gonna move it over to body and paint. Everything's being painted in Mario's company color, orange.
Catch some attention with this color right here.
We went with the light tan color powder coat on the frame to contrast all that orange and match the interior perfectly. Get all the components done. This thing should be a roller pretty quickly. We officially got a rolling chassis. We're about to make it roll. Set it on the ground, get that engine on. One thing I've learned many years ago, no matter how long you work on a build, like the months and months on this 85 C10, the last little bit is always the hardest. But it also can be the most satisfying when it all comes together. I know Mario's gonna love this truck as soon as he sees it.
Now, when a lot of people say they work on cars, this is working on cars. I work to work on cars. I come home to work on cars. Hell, when I sleep, I'm probably still working on cars. My hands are probably still moving, turning wrenches. Up there we got a customer's car. That's a full total build from the ground up. Starting with the frame, suspension, engine swap, fully painted, full interior, everything brand new. Over there I got my other car, my 95 Cadillac Fleetwood. That used to be really, really nice until I had a little accident with it. This was one of my first candy paint jobs with all the graphics and metal flake and pinstripe and all that stuff that I personally done. You can see the interior panel there that holds all the speakers. That paint job just flows all the way into the car. It's a good friend of mine. We're installing a vintage air AC in it, power steering upgrade, brake upgrade, and while we're at it, we're putting a little bit of music in it for him. What can I say?
We put a lot of energy into Mario's truck. Huge transformation. There's no way he thinks this is the same truck. This has to be beyond any dream he's ever had of a custom truck. And now it's time for him to finally see it. Mario, what's happening?
How are you?
How you doing, man?
I'm okay.
Man, I know it's been a while, huh?
Yeah.
Man, Mario, a while back I came out to your place and, checked out your project that you wanted to get started on, the old square body truck. It definitely wasn't a showstopper by any means. Right? But, we've been working on it for quite some time, and I think you're going to be very, very, very pleasantly surprised to see this truck, to see how far it's come. But, man, you ready to check it out?
I'm ready.
Let's go check it out.
All right, let's go. Oh, it's beautiful. Man, when that door opens, wow, it's a beautiful truck. I can't believe that truck came out so nice.
No more blue, huh?
No more blue, orange.
Mario wanted his truck to match the rest of his fleet. We went with a custom mix orange with a little bit of yellow pearl. It looks perfect. This brings me way, way back to my first truck, and that's just something that I just love. Once you set it down on the ground like that, it just makes people want to go over there and check it out, right?
Yeah.
You can't stop looking at it. And no matter where you look, every inch of this thing is customized. On the square body, it's all about that wheel size and the stance and just the overall proportion. So the front, you got to have those 24x9s, and the rear, you got to have those 24x15s. Let's check out the interior.
Man, whoa, this is nice.
Gone is the old blue, right?
No more blue. No
can't have that. You know, the color's been brought into the inside also with that tan saddle interior. We replaced every single part and piece in here. I mean, they've custom built enclosures for the kick panels and the sub enclosure. It just looks, you know, not only custom, it's classy as well.
Yeah, I love the seats. I love the steering. I love the,
check this out.
Oh, man, this is beautiful, man.
No more 305.
No more 305. This is nice, man.
This is a 6.2 LS. This thing has way more power than this truck needs.
Oh, my God, this is nice.
You see, it's a brand new chassis front to back. I mean, you can look down in the engine compartment and see all the custom parts and pieces that have been built, you know, one-off for this truck.
The way you guys did the chassis and everything, they match everything, man.
Right? The front end's all one piece now. And the firewall's all been color matched, smoothed out, bead rolled. It's a cool truck. I got one more little surprise for you. It's in the back. I know you're gonna like this.
Whoa, that's beautiful, man.
Right? We had to incorporate your logo too. So there's no doubt whose truck this is. You know, even in the bed itself with Tim in the bed, just smoothing everything out, building the big wheel tubs, building the big notch cover. To get a truck this low, this is what you have to have. The wheels and tires take up that much space in the bed. It takes a whole team, a whole shop to build something like this. And that's something we're all proud of.
When I saw that diamond, oh my God, the whole truck, I mean,
man, don't be taking this truck to the job site, man. I know that's what you wanted, man, but don't be taking it.
I want, man. I'm not going to put any concrete on top of this bed, man. It's beautiful, man.